everybody, welcome back to Yoga Pants and Plants. Today is day 7, non-excess. Have you ever noticed there's certain times when your body feels like it's had too much of something, even if it's something good? Today is an opportunity to understand the yoga philosophy of non-excess. Let's get started. Yoga Pants and Plants. 30 Days of Compassionate Yoga is an invitation to journey toward being in the present moment, an opportunity to emulate the way nature lives in the moment. Be like a plant. Don't worry how you look. Notice how you sense and respond, like the way a tree reaches for the sun or a source of water. Nourish yourself with movement and stillness. Allow compassion to flourish for a little bit of time every day. Day 7, non-excess. Have you noticed that when we do too much of one thing, we feel out of balance? In yoga philosophy, the teaching of non-excess reminds us that there is a moment in time when we've had enough of something. And because we've engaged our ability to observe ourselves from the wisdom layer of the body, we recognize that point more and more. If you have ever noticed that you feel too many feelings, too much stress, or even too many racing thoughts, there is a breath practice that brings you back to center. It's called the 3-part breath. Begin by laying down on your back with your eyes closed, relaxing your face and your body. You can keep your legs outstretched or bend your knees and bring the soles of your feet to your mat if that's more comfortable. If you bend your knees, let them rest against each other. Begin by observing the natural inhalation and exhalation of your breath without changing anything. If you find yourself distracted, try not to engage in the thoughts, just notice them and then let them go, bringing your attention back to the inhales and exhales. Begin to inhale and exhale deeply through the nose. On each inhale, fill the belly up with your breath. Expand the belly with air like a balloon. On each exhale, expel all of the air out from your belly through your nose. Draw your navel back toward your spine to make sure that the belly is empty of air. Repeat this deep belly breathing for about 5 breaths. This is part 1. Before moving on to part 2, here's a few things to keep in mind. Don't force your lungs into overcapacity. Your lungs should feel comfortably full, not like they're going to burst. Your breath should come in and go out smoothly. On the next inhale, fill the belly up with air. Then when the belly is full, draw in a little more breath and let the air expand into the rib cage, causing the ribs to widen. On the exhale, let the air go first from the rib cage, letting the ribs slide closer together, and then from the belly, drawing the navel back towards the spine. Repeat this deep breathing into the belly and rib cage for about 5 breaths. This is part 2. Ask yourself, am I able to notice the expansion of the ribs during the inhale in the second part of this exercise? Am I able to notice the ribs returning to normal on the exhale? Questions like this are here to nourish your self-awareness. On the next inhale, fill the belly and the rib cage up with air. Then sip in just a little more air and let it fill the upper chest all the way up to the collarbone, causing the area around the heart, which is called the heart center in yoga, to expand and rise. On an exhale, let the breath go first from the upper chest, allowing the heart center to sink back down. Then from the rib cage, letting the ribs slide closer together. Finally, let the air go from the belly, drawing the navel back toward the spine. Ask yourself, did I experience breath all the way to my collarbone? Continue at your own pace, eventually coming to let the 3 parts of the breath happen smoothly without pausing. Come to completion and enjoy several breaths without thinking about it. Gently roll to one side and push yourself into a seated position. To get ready for today's somatic exploration, grab your blanket and lay it flat. Have the long edge of the blanket parallel to the long edge of your mat. Fold the blanket in half. Take the edge that is closest to you and fold it to the imaginary center line halfway between the edge that is closest to you and the other edge parallel to this long edge. Now bring the edge that's further away from you and fold it right over the top. And then finally take a final fold from the side that is closest to you to the side that is furthest away. And what you have is a blanket or a beach towel that's folded to be between 4 and 6 inches wide. While sitting on your mat, stretch your legs out long and pull the blanket right up next to your body. Lay your back down on the mat and pull the blanket so it goes up past your head and down the side of your arm and down your leg. Gently roll in the opposite direction of the blanket and reach around and pull the blanket or towel under your spine. Place your head on the blanket and have it run all the way down your spine, under your tailbone. Place your feet in an effortless rest position to add some stability. At any time that this feels uncomfortable, you can remove the blanket. You may want to try it again another day. After all the work of setting this up, just take a few minutes to sink into a quiet time of non-doing. When you're ready to move on, gently move your arms away from the body in a cactus position if that feels comfortable. Feel free to adjust your arms if needed for the arch and flatten exploration. Contract the muscles of your low back by tilting your tailbone toward the floor. Your low back will slightly arch and lift. Your bottom will remain on the folded blanket. As you release this arch, slowly and consciously relax the low back muscles as much as possible. Contract your abdominal muscles by drawing your chest down toward your pubic bone, shortening the length of your belly muscles. Your low back will flatten towards the floor as your navel presses back toward your spine. As you release, slowly and consciously relax the abdominal muscles. Try this series of arch and flatten 2 to 3 more times at your own pace. The arch and flatten exercise works on the mobility of the spine. Travel up the spine to the shoulders and explore the mobility of the shoulder blades. Begin by bringing awareness to the front of the shoulders. Begin with one shoulder and tap the shoulder on the top in the front just to bring awareness to it. And then very slowly bring that shoulder toward the ceiling and relax it down to the floor 3 times. As you move your shoulder toward the ceiling, pay attention to how the shoulder blade is gliding. Does it feel smooth or sticky? If it feels sticky, move it more slowly and consciously work towards smoothness. This is called shoulder protraction. Now move the same shoulder in the opposite direction toward the floor. You can feel the blade of the shoulder press into the floor and let it release back into its desired position. Do this 3 times and ask yourself, does it feel smooth or sticky? Let the shoulder rest and ask, how does this shoulder feel compared to the one on the other side? Now consciously move to the other shoulder, tap it on the front to bring awareness to this shoulder. Very slowly bring the shoulder toward the ceiling and relax it back to the floor 3 times. As you move the shoulder toward the ceiling, pay attention to how the shoulder blade is gliding and ask yourself if it feels smooth or sticky. And once again, if it is sticky, move it more slowly and consciously. Work towards smoothness. This is called shoulder protraction. Now move the same shoulder in the opposite direction toward the floor. Feel the blade of the shoulder press into the floor and let it release back into its desired position. Do this 3 times and ask yourself, does it feel smooth or sticky? Let the shoulders rest in a neutral position and ask yourself how your shoulders feel now. Now you can bring both shoulders toward the ceiling at the same time and relax them back to the neutral position. And then go the opposite direction, taking both shoulder blades toward the spine. Roll to one side and remove the blanket. If possible, leave the blanket folded for use on day 8. Go ahead and gently turn over into a table position and do a cat and cow a few times. Notice the movement of your shoulders in the cat position where your back is pressed toward the ceiling. And then when you sink the belly toward the ground, notice how the shoulders move. Come to a seated position, and we will end the practice in a seated meditation. If you would prefer to sit in a chair, you're welcome to do that. And if you would like a couple pillows to support your legs, if you're sitting on the floor, that works too. Sometimes people stick one under each knee for support. Gently close the eyes or hold a soft focus. If you're seated on the floor, your legs are supporting you. So give thanks to your legs for providing just the right amount of stability. If you're in the chair, acknowledge how your feet are providing additional stability and give thanks to your feet. As you settle in, notice what is happening in your mind. Does it feel busy or relaxed? Without any judgment, just notice. Place your hands on your heart and take as many deep breaths as you need to find stillness. Move your arms across the chest for a hug. Rock your body gently forward and back. Rock gently from side to side. Allow your hands to open and land on your legs. Here is some of what is taught by Adele, the author of the Yamas and Niyamas, in the chapter on non-excess. We are here in the world in part to feel enjoyment and pleasure. If we are in pleasure and it is not addiction, we are practicing non-excess. If we are feeding our mental stories and have moved past bodily comfort, we are out of harmony. Non-excess is not about non-enjoyment. It is about the right amount of enjoyment. Say quietly to yourself, I can find non-excess in stillness whenever I need it. In stillness, my body tells me what I need. Here I will leave you in silence for 1 minute and then return to bring you to the end of this class. Begin to wiggle your body and find alertness. Bring your hands to your heart and namaste. Now, as you rise from your mat, don't forget to eat more plants. You will feel and move better. Follow us for tips at flowingyan.com.